Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
we got the Healy, a couple of people up there.
Yes.
All right.
Do you give permission to record?
Yeah, whoever would like to.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I can't hear anything.
So what we want to do today is we're going to go over really what the Healy's all about. We're going to focus on the health, the well-being, and the balance. As Healy, suggests, it's all about frequencies for life. A little bit about how I got introduced to the Healy with my story, and then we'll move in further with some additional phenomenal information. I think we're all muted. I'm under the impression we are. I'm not the technical one here. So I got introduced to it through Renee.
Sorry, John.
Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. I keep asking to record, and it keeps putting up a message, but I'm not getting a red button here. So it says, please request recording permission from the meeting host. So I think someone on your end needs to say yes.
I am recording it and we'll be happy to share with you, Mark.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I heard
The
someone else.
recording button is on.
Okay, we good?
We're good.
We're recording. Okay, so as I mentioned, how I got introduced to Healy is Renee had reached out to me and she said, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you take a look at this technology? And at first I was like, yeah, absolutely. Knowing what I did for a living. So I had a little bit of a break. I believe it was a Tuesday. And I started sitting down and reviewing some of the information. And what I noticed was there was just so much initially. So I'm like, you know what, let me go to headquarters. So I went to the headquarter website, which is what you see below here, healyworld.net. And I started reviewing the expertise, who makes up the program, or who makes up the avenues. I don't know if we can do a full mute. Can we do a complete mute? I don't know.
I think Renee can do it.
Okay. We got that? We got everybody muted? Still getting some. All right. So what happened was Renee had sent me the information. I started reviewing it and looking at it. And as I started scrolling through some of the information, what I noticed, there was two gentlemen that popped up. Now, I'm not going to bring those gentlemen up right now because I'm going to talk about them a little bit later in the information that we're going to have for tonight. But as soon as I saw that, I probably blew up Renee's phone with numerous texts, just one after the other, after the other, after the other. And then finally, I just said, I'm in. So I sent her that. She got back to me the next day. I know she was doing some volunteer work, so she couldn't get to my text, which is totally fine.
I'm muted, so.
Once I saw that, I knew right away that when I saw these gentlemen, I knew I was in 100%. So let's take a look at what Healy is and who Healy really is. Marcus Schmenka is the founder and the inventor of the time waver and the Healy technology. This gentleman studied physics and philosophy. He's the author of 25 books, and he's translated in 10 different languages. He has just numerous accolades, and one that's really the most impressive, I think, is how he's been able to team up with another gentleman who has these two gentlemen have brought this technology together, and that's Nuno Nina. So Nuno Nina is a specialist in integrative health. He's a clinic director, practitioner, and an expert in cell biology. And he's the developer of 144,000 gold frequencies, which are the frequencies that we have within the Healy device. Now, one other thing that kind of stands out with Nuno Nina that really caught my attention is he looks at an injury or the development of an injury from two different perspectives. The first is that you have the emotional level of an injury and you have that unresolved trauma and stress. The second is the physical level of the cell becomes disrupted. And then what ends up happening is this leads to the organs not functioning efficiently. I kind of take it a little bit of a step further and I use the acronym SPINE. And basically it's easy for me to remember it. So I look at an injury that has the spiritual side, the physical side, the intellectual side, the neurological side, and of course the emotional side. Well, with the technology that I use now, prior to the Healy, I was able to find that neurological side and that musculoskeletal side, or the physical side. Now, with the technology of the Healy, I have the ability to find all five. And that's one thing that really drew me to the technology from the standpoint of the frequencies. So once I saw that, and I had brought on some more due diligence on my own of seeing what these gentlemen were basically bringing to the table, again, as I told Renee, I'm in. So when we look at a business and we have the minds, we also have to look at the funding. And Christian Helper is that gentleman. He's an entrepreneur. He's the founder of the Superfund hedge fund, and he's the investor in sustainable technologies. And from what I understand, that's pretty much all he's doing now. He is actually an investor in Time Waiver as well. That is the sister company of Healy. And his backing for these two gentlemen is unwavering. And as we can see that, they've already put in, from what I've gathered, 25 million euros over the last 4+ years to get the Healy up off the ground and running. So the company itself is pretty sound. It's obviously already standing up over in Europe very, very strongly. And we just got some more information today that I'll bring to your attention a little bit later on in the presentation. So we know that it is a German-based company, and everything is developed out of Germany. We have the development side, and we have the two corporate offices. There are obviously distribution centers across the world, and there's managers that are obviously running that. We might have some hiccups here and there, but for the most part, when you're really looking at a company that's running strong, this is one that's head over big time from the start. So the Healy is a FDA Class 2 piece of equipment. It is cleared for over-the-counter sales, which is something that's phenomenal. I believe in a social selling market as what we are basically doing our sales from. It is the first medical device, I believe, for pain relief in this field alone. So with the FDA clearance, it's great to know and great to have. And obviously, a lot of the doctors, even doctors on the call, they really see that as a plus. So let's take a look at what the standards are for a device like this, specifically coming out of Germany. It has been conceived in collaboration with a number of doctors and practitioners. It's obviously, as I mentioned before, it was developed in Germany. And I get a lot of questions from information regarding the security, because we are looking at a medical cloud. And when you're looking at something like that, especially over in Europe, from what I've gathered, there's a medical class certification on the cloud that has to be met. It has, this company, from what I've gathered, has built their own unique service of the system. So they didn't go to Amazon, or they didn't go to another company and say, we want to provide, all the information on your servers. No, they have to do it themselves. This keeps that high standard of encryption, and they always run through somewhere between 3 or 6 month audits to look at the safety and the security within that system. So we have that, kind of a relaxation, understanding that all of our information is going to be protected. So let's take a look at the medical advisory board. So like with any FDA Class 2 piece of equipment and any medical device of that nature, you're going to have a good backing from the medical advisory board. Now, a lot of these doctors are from all over the world. There's a list of very good ones. The two, obviously, that I am aware of more comfortably is Nuno Nina, obviously with the frequencies that he's provided for the Healy, from the Healy itself, the 144 gold frequencies. And the other is Dr. Carolyn McMacken. So when it was first brought to my attention, again, from what Renee had mentioned to me, the first thing I did was start looking up a little bit more information on the site, and Dr. McMacken came up on the advisory board. So I started doing a little bit more due diligence on her expertise, and it comes out to be frequency-specific microcurrent. She has a book out called The Resonance Effect. You can see it here. And I've read it 3 times. It's fascinating just from a standpoint of seeing and learning what the frequencies can do and how they affect the cell. And we're going to try and dabble into that a little bit today. But these two individuals, from my perspective, were pretty instrumental in seeing how this is going to be moving forward. Obviously, Nina being the man who provides the frequencies and what can be moving forward with the other doctors on board. So now what we look at is what are we trying to do? What are we looking at from the standpoint of our vision? And we want to focus on providing a holistically healthy life for all humans. And the overall mission is creating technology, ideas, and values for life-changing improvement. So when we look at the products themselves of what Healy provides, everything you see on this screen from the Healy Advisor, the practitioner search, your Healy Advisor Analyst app, the Healy itself, the Healy Watch app, and the Healy Watch, and the digital nutritional analyzer. These things are all part of the Healy program, but the most important is the catalyst of the Healy itself. That's kind of where our main focus is going to be tonight. We'll dabble in a little bit with To Watch. We'll dabble a little bit into the digital nutritional app as well and the analyzer from that standpoint. But the main focus is really to really look at what the Healy is going to be able to provide you just from the frequencies alone. So with any medical device, we obviously have the old fun disclaimer and or notice that we have to state. Instead of reading the whole thing, I'm really just going to read the first 3 lines just so that we all get an idea of what we're looking at from what the Healy is providing for us. So the Healy is a microcurrent medical device that has been cleared by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for relief of acute, chronic, and arthritis pain and muscle soreness due to overexertion. Healy is also has non-medical applications that use individualized frequencies to help balance your body, your mind and your body, and relieve stress. Always use your Healy in accordance with its instructions for use. And as we go through and individuals get their watch, or if they get their digital nutritional app, they can definitely, read through even more on what the modalities can provide. So let's take a look at some of the facts. I'm going to move this around here. It's a little smaller. There we go. Get this out of the way here. So let's take a look at some facts and figures. There's already been over 500,000 applications amongst clients and patients with time waiver and the Healy technology. It's already, time waiver information field of technology has already reached 45 countries, 45 being the United States as of May 1st. And there's already 2,000 professional users utilizing the programming and the time waiver technology amongst practitioners and therapists alike across the world. So it's already out there. We've just been fortunate enough to have someone like Marcus Schmenke and Nuno Nina provide it for us, literally a wearable that we can wear and do whatever we want to do while we're doing it. I actually went to and worked out in my home today while I ran one of the protocols. So you have all that freedom now, as opposed to being kind of, I don't want to say tied down, but at least now you have that mobility to take this technology anywhere you want, which is unheard of. So now we get into the nitty gritty. This is kind of what I like. But I think it's important to understand as best we can. Some people, they will say, you know what, as long as it works, I'm fine with that, which I agree. If you couldn't do this and now you can, then, and it's safe, then by all means. I like to kind of get a little bit more dirty and figure out, okay, what is it that's happening? I want to know. So the 2 gentlemen, when I talked with Renee and did some research, the 2 gentlemen that came up to me from the one of the pages on this site was Dr. Robert Becker and Professor Bjorn Nordenstrom. So Dr. Becker, he is a orthopedic surgeon. Well, he passed, but he was an orthopedic surgeon in electrotherapy with a focus on organ regeneration. So he is known for a book. Let me open this up so that I can make sure everyone can see. So this book here is called The Body Electric. All right, and Dr. Robert Becker wrote this book really kind of out of necessity. He was kind of aggravated that his colleagues really weren't given the time of day on some of the things that he was finding. And what he was finding, along with obviously what Professor Bjorn Nordenstrom had also found as a professor of radiology out of Sweden, he ended up writing, he wrote a book called Biologically Closed Electrical Circuits. And these two gentlemen, almost pioneers off of what they've been finding and looking at what happens at the cellular level with electricity. So when we look at this graph, you see at minus 70 millivolts is a young, healthy cell. As that begins to change, we start to lead into the reduction of that voltage, which then obviously leads to the aging sick cell. If it drops further, we're going to start increasing the inflammation. These things begin to happen naturally, but also just from our life stresses that we put on ourselves. So the emphasis here from what these gentlemen had talked about is that according to their model, humans are only as healthy as the health of their cells and their ability to communicate with each other. Cell health can therefore be determined by one simple parameter, and that is the electrical cell membrane voltage. So if we think about our bodies, our bodies are organs. We have our systems, we have our organs. Our organs are made up of cells, which are made up of molecules, which are made up of atoms, which are made up of subatomic particles, which then is all energy. So when we look at the abilities of our body to be able to transfer nutrients between the outside of the cell and inside the cell and through the openings of the cell membrane, that potential, that energy is the difference that allows that to, kind of like a magnet, to open and close, to open and close. And it's in our opinion, the frequencies of the Healy microcurrent should modulate cell metabolism. So that's one of the important things that we're looking at that Healy is going to allow us to provide. So with that being said, we're looking at single channel microcurrent. All right, so the positive effects of the microcurrent, I'm going to start down below and kind of work our way up. When we look at what microcurrent is doing, it's definitely proven that it increases amino acid transport by up to 40%. So the amino acids are the building blocks of the protein synthesis. The protein synthesis is then increased by 70%, and that allows for the building of the cells. And then, of course, the last and probably the most impressive thing is the aspect of the energy storage, the ATP, which the mitochondria makes within the cell. That is our energy. So me talking right now, I have to use ATP when I'm moving my hands, when you're opening your eyes, blinking your eyes, whatever it is, you're utilizing ATP in order to make that happen. So with the ability for the microcurrent to just simply do those three things, from the increase in the amino acid transport, increased protein synthesis as well from up to 70%, and then most importantly, the increase of the ATP production by 500% is unheard of, but it's proven. Now there are numerous studies, and when we put this slide in, Melissa said, this slide's going to go about 4 or 5 slides down. I'm like, no, we just want people to understand that the studies are there. The studies are there to show what microcurrent can do. Take a look at what Dr. McMacken has done as well, and you're going to really see the advantages that the Healy can bring to us. But the other thing that sets the Healy apart, and this is really what it sets it apart from any microcurrent machine that you're going to find, and this is what really floors me. So when we look at what the technology provides, the first thing that we get, other than just the microcurrent, is real-time frequency analysis every 10 seconds. And how this is done, it's using the quantum sensor that's in the Healy itself to analyze the bioenergetic field that surrounds our body. The resonance analysis of progress then allows us to see how long you need to run particular frequencies. The last aspect of what the Healy provides is what's called the indications. And it uses the database of frequencies of the 144 gold frequencies to actually find the special frequencies that you're gonna need for how long you're gonna need them. So for instance, when you're running an analysis, you can find out what subcategory you need to use out of a number of programs. But then what the indication is gonna do is go, okay, when you run that sub program, it's gonna give you a list of what is the priority among those programs. And that could be liver, it could be kidney, but it's giving you the frequencies that are going to benefit you specifically for what you need for that issue. So there's the static frequency, which is the frequency that's used specifically for an issue that you'll also see like in specific microcurrent. Like we know that a frequency of 40 is for inflammation, a frequency of 9 is an allergy. But when you look at what the Healy is providing, it's looking at the automatic frequency, and that is these points right here, from the real-time analysis to the resonance analysis to the indications. And that's, again, what separates what the Healy is providing for us as an end user versus just doing, a microcurrent machine. So this gives us the ability to free ourselves from pain. So we're looking at the Healy provides a non-invasive, non-drug relief for that acute, chronic, and arthritis pain, also from the muscle soreness due to overexertion, housework, training, exercise, or what have you. How do we apply the Healy? So I'm using it right now. I've got an application that this particular program is telling me to apply it to the wrist. A majority of them do. There are other ones that, unfortunately, in the U.S., the U.S. FDA did not allow us to use the ear clips that they can use in Europe. So they do suggest just take the sticky pads, and they can be placed on the earlobe or just behind the ear. And then there's also usage for local. I bought, they come with it, and the Healy, some of the supplies will come with it, and they're just sticky electro pads that you can use for locations. Like if it's a low back issue, if it's an elbow issue, they can be adhere to those locations like any STEM unit. So who is the Healy for? The Healy's for pretty much anybody that's walking the earth, in my opinion. But I have one. I have another one on the way. I've scanned. I've got a Healy resonance, so I've done an analysis on all of my kids, my wife, myself, and we're kind of fighting over it now. I have to. With my kids, I don't do maybe 1 or 2 at the most in the day, but they're always like asking when, can they use it or can I use it? Well, what's interesting with this is that, if you're practitioners, you can have people that have a Healy, but they may come to your office and simply just run an analysis. I'm actually, doing that as well. I've got people that are going to be getting theirs, but in the meantime, we're running the analysis. If obviously I have it with me when I'm running it. So I'll run the analysis and we'll go through, and I'm actually implementing that within what I do within my practice with my clients is part of the evaluation. I'm providing that. Now, another thing on the Healy, there was a question that was asked on EMF radiation. And from what we gathered, there is none from the Healy device itself and negligible from the watch. What's impressive is that there actually is a protective programs. There's a program on the Healy, I think on one of the levels, I'm not sure if it's the Resonance or if it's the Healy Holistic Plus, that actually provides protective programs against EMF. So that was always something that was intriguing to me as well. But what's also interesting is once you download that program, you can literally just put your phone to the side. You don't need to carry it with you because it's already, that program is then, obviously on the Healy, so you don't even have to keep your phone on. So let's take a look at the additions. Okay, so when we look at the Healy additions, our first one is the Healy Gold. So you got Nuno Nina, who is obviously one of the smartest men I think I haven't met yet. Hopefully one of these days, soon. He provides the support of the Healy Gold, and the Healy Gold, it brings in the rejuvenation, the recovery of negative environmental influences and stress, optimal energy balance, feelings of vitality, well-being, and relaxation. The Healy Gold programs are usually the first programs that are recommended that everybody uses. Pure being one that is specifically for overall detoxification. But as you go through and you start learning what each program does, it's definitely, as you go through off of Pure Care, Balance, Being, Energy, Relax, Release, these alone are so beneficial. But as we start to look at the next slide, Now we've got something that's actually going on right now that's going to run till May 25th. If you're Central Time, it's 5 o'clock. I'm not sure about the other time zones yet, but you can figure it out. Plus, we get free shipping. So for the price of the Healy Gold, I can get the Healy Holistic Health. What does that mean? Well, I can get the gold programs with an additional pain and psyche, bioenergetic balance 1 and 2, mental balance, meridians 1 and 2, sleep, skin, 90 programs in all. If I want to upgrade from the Healy Holistic Health and I want to go Healy Holistic Plus, I'm going to pay what I would pay for the Healy Holistic Health, but I'm going to get all of those programs, all the gold programs, and additional programs for a total of 133 programs. I went right for the gusto. I went for the Healy Resonance. And the reason why I did that is I wanted to analyze. I wanted to analyze my family. I wanted to analyze my clients. And for me, it was really a no-brainer. It was a $942 savings, free shipping, and I think I just paid. The only additional is the taxes. You just got to pay the taxes for your town and your state. But this promotion runs till May 25th. So to recap one more time, it's if someone wants, I just want to get the Healy Gold, well, then you're automatically want to go to the Healy Holistic Health because you're going to get it for that price. If you want to go from the Healy Holistic Health Plus and get more programs, you're just simply going to pay the price for the Healy Holistic Health. And if you want the Healy Resonance, you're simply going to pay the price for the Healy Holistic Health Plus, which is right there at the bottom at 14. I'm going to move everybody at 1413 plus the shipping. I'm sorry, plus the tax. So again, free shipping, phenomenal deal. Real quickly too, just from the experience of having it for 2.5 days, I did run an analysis on a Northwestern football player that I worked with since he's 21. I've been working with Riley since he was, I think, 9. The most unflexible kid you'd ever meet. Super fast, unbelievable, never really an issue, but his flexibility was he just doesn't have it. We ran an analysis. It came back with bioenergetic 1, programs 1. We went into that program. I ran the analysis off of that. It came back flexibility. His jaw hit the floor. My jaw hit the floor. I hooked him up and I made him train with it on. So he trained the entire session running the flexibility protocol at 100% with the on the Healy. So again, I haven't had enough, but that right there was an eye opener for me. I was like, okay, and he was pretty impressed. So let's go into a little bit briefly from the Healy. We're going to go into some of the other packages and or products that are provided in addition with the Healy. We got the Healy Advisor app. What the Healy Advisor app is, it provides a search. So it's kind of like the Google for the Healy. You can punch in things like a Healy program and recommendations, concerns that you might have, discomforts, whatever it might be, and then they will come back with programs that you can use. There we go. That you can use, such as here's some examples, reliable recommendations. So it'll come back with that. It also provides individual requests for experts within the app. So you can actually reach out to time waiver therapists and see if there's other individual or other programs that they may be assistance with. There are other programmers as well, time waiver therapists that can provide programs. I don't know if they're through time waiver or if they're a separate entity where they would just pay for the service of having that program made for you. Find the practitioners. We have the digital nutrition app. And what the DNA actually can do is it will look at as an assistant, and it can look at, again, searching. You can look through the programs and see what kind of substances are most advantageous for you. How this works phenomenally is you can actually run frequencies that will open up the cell channels so that your body can help with the absorption rate of the supplements that you're going to be needing to take in order to better your health. And it also can provide a shopping list. So again, now you've got another tool that you can add to your arsenal to improve your health, but you're looking at it from the frequency side. The Healy Watch. So this is in no way in comparison the Apple Watch is going to touch this. I don't use any watches. I know people that do. I had a person in today go through a treatment, and she actually had a Healy watch, and I go, you've got to see what this is going to do. There's 14 different points that the Healy watch can provide. We don't have them all listed here, right? But it kind of gives you a little bit of an idea from bioenergetic rhythm analysis. It's got your heart rate variability, your heart rate, your stress levels, your sleep. It'll monitor all of that and then some, and then measure it, analyze it, determine frequency programs that'll be specific for you based off those additional inputs that are provided. And here you've got the ability now to bring in not only what the body's asking for in the frequencies by using the Healy, but you have the ability to now measure everything, from sleep, from your heart rate, and so forth and so on, to even bring in a better, possible program, even determine, when you're looking at your fitness. Because we know in life, we eat, we want to eat right, we want to move. I always tell my clients, you stop moving, you die, unfortunately. So we have got to move. Strength is the most important avenue. But now we also look at what do we have? We have frequencies for life. So we have the 3 pillars that Healy is now bringing to us that we can use at our beck and call by simply implementing the digital nutritional applications, as well as the Healy watch, and using the frequencies the way they're designed to help ourselves. The other aspect of the Healy Advisor is the database. So the database can actually provide some great complex relationships between poor health in relation to the meridians and your chakras, and the organ clock is provided with with one of the apps. I believe it's within the watch. You have all of this in a database that has already been building up for years through Time Waiver. The ability to have that again at our beck and call whenever we decide that, I want to run an evaluation or an analysis and see what's frequency going to be best for me before I go out and do my run or set up my workout. It might, tell me I may not want to look at that. I might want to look at something else. So let's take a look at the effectiveness of the Healy. So how would you rate the effectiveness of the Healy? This was pretty impressive. So when you look at improvement of my concerns, 47% of the surveyed came back with that noted improvement of my concerns. A strong improvement of my concerns was an additional 31%. So if you just took that alone at that 78% improvement, it's pretty interesting. You add an additional 18% for just slight, so you have no effect of 4%. That leaves us with a 96% effectiveness. What's even more impressive is the recommendation. So of those surveyed, the 94% said they would recommend the Healy to others. I had heard earlier today that number was actually higher, but they added in more people just to be sure that it didn't seem like it wasn't believable. So the tail end here is to kind of give some information slightly, not a whole lot, but slightly, on the aspect that there is a way to generate some really, really good revenue by simply sharing the Healy experience, and or if someone looks at this as an additional revenue stream for their business, or just on the side. Obviously, with what we're dealing with in today's world, many people are really going to be struggling and are kind of going to be strapped. So here's another avenue using a technology that's proven where you can generate some substantial income. More importantly, it's very fair. The compensation plan is a very fair compensation plan. Again, that is another whole presentation, which we are in the process of working on. We can definitely get that information to you, obviously, if you're interested in moving forward on that avenue. So when we think about that aspect on the business side, let's take a look at the nutritional supplement industry. It has an 8% growth annually. The health and fitness wearables has a 25% growth annually. Can you imagine where the microcurrent and frequency home applications could go? Less than 10 million US dollars in the last 20 years. But get this, I found out this morning that in the first 11 days, Healy has sold $4 million in sales. So that right there alone, when I saw that, I'm like, I can't believe that. Well, I had to double check it again. So 4 million in sales since May 1st. Not a bad start in the US. So where are we right now? Well, we're obviously just launched in the US, but other countries that are already saturated, so to speak, well, at least open, the EU, India, Australia, soon, I think in the next 3 or 4 months, Canada, and then Mexico, and I think it's South Korea will also be opening up as well. So what does Healy World have to offer? Well, it's the fastest growing social selling company within the last 10 years. Definitely first-class customer service, worldwide warranty. You can get your own custom landing page. Has a great lead system, highly effective marketing, and it does say, lucrative compensation plan. I'll definitely say it's fair. The one thing you also, when you look at a company like in the social selling state, is we're all as one. We're here to help you build. If you succeed, we all succeed. And our team is about that. We want you to succeed, and build your business the way you seem fit. So when we look at the compensation plan briefly, these are basically 6 ways of generating revenue. You got the direct bonus, that is basically you sell it, you get this commission. You've got your dual bonus, that's all about team. Matching bonus is all about team and people that you help build businesses. And then we'll go into the rest, again, as you decide that you want to move forward. So we have a market of personal wearable microcurrent therapy devices, which is growing huge exponentially with the potential of over $200 billion. You can build a worldwide business together with us. Join us now for a better life for all humans and better life for yourself. And all I would really want to say is seize the opportunity today, now. Reach up to the individual that brought you to this webinar, the Zoom meeting tonight. If you have any questions, reach out to them. They can obviously reach out to us and myself. I'd be more than happy to help out in any way I can. And I thank you for your time. We're not going to do any questions this time around, but you have those questions, again, reach up to the person that brought you to this seminar and Zoom meeting, and we'll move forward from there. Okay. Thanks you all for being on, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.
Thank you, Jeff.